Dr. Fuck here with part 2 of my favorite albums of 1982. These that I have in front of me are the top 20 albums. It hurt to leave Assault Attack off and so on. Now, anybody that saw my episode of part 1 and you're going to watch this and you're going to say, hey, where's this album? It's up your ass. Now let's go, get going. Number 20, you see the shirt I'm wearing? Vandenberg, man. I love their first album. At number 20, the first Vandenberg album. Awesome album. I got to see them open for Ozzy Osbourne. Speak of the Devil Tour, where the guitar player that night was not Brad Gillis, it was Shaky Lee. But this album's great, phenomenal album. I mean, Burning Heart is the hit off it. I think my favorite track on here is Back on My Feet, or Wait, one of those two. Your Love is in Vain, Ready for You, Too Late, Nothing to Lose, Lost in the City, Out in the Streets, the whole album. Solid album. They made 2 more albums after this that were not as good, but they both had great tracks on it, and both had fillers. This one, all killer, no filler. All right, at 19, man, I love me. I don't know. This may be my favorite Y&T album. Black Tiger. No, actually, Earthshaker is my favorite album. This may be my second favorite. From the Moon, I love that little intro. Going into the ripping open fire, Hell or High Water, Forever. Forever is so epic. The title track, Winds of Change. Max Norman produced this. Great album. I love me some Y&T. At 18, this is a game changer right here. Said this story before and I'll say it again. My friend called me and said, you gotta run to my house. I gotta turn you on to this band that's on this compilation I bought. This was the compilation. The very first Metal Massacre. It is pretty much a game changer when it comes to metal, period. Last track on here, Metallica. And Hit the Lights, and that's the song he told me. You got to run over here and listen to this band. It's the fastest thing I ever heard. And by that time, we already knew Motorhead, and I was like, faster than Motorhead? He goes, yes, I'm on my way. And yes, it blew my mind. Some good shit on here. You got Black and Blue with Tommy Thayer. Chains Around Heaven, I love that song. Bitch, Live for the Whip, Malice, Captive of Light, Avatar, Octane, Syria Thungal, I talked about him on the last one. Death of the Sun, Demon Flight, Dead of the Night, Pandemonium, Fighting Back, Malice, Kick You Down. Malice is on here twice. This is a great compilation, one of the greatest compilations ever. It's historic. And the beginning of many more killer Metal Massacre compilation albums. This is the first one. This is not the original press. My friend had the original press. 17. Now here's probably something that might surprise you. I really love this album though, a lot. Paul McCartney, Tug of War. At the time, I remember early 80s, I used to play Take Me Away a lot on MTV, because MTV didn't have many videos. And I heard that song so many times, and it never really registered with me till much later. Now I think that song is great. You know, the thing is, back in the early 80s, my brain wasn't expanded enough. I mean, yeah, I did like some, different stuff than metal, like, Cheap Trick, ELO, Kansas, Styx, some of the corporate rock, which I love corporate rock. Fuck the critics with their fucking, oh, we're going to bash you by calling it corporate rock. I'm sorry, I'd rather listen to corporate rock than Jackson Browne. Excuse me. But anyway, this is a great album. I love Tug of War, the title track. Take It Away, as I was talking about before. Here Today, a song he wrote about John Lennon. Beautiful, sad song. Ballroom Dancing's a fun tune. Wanderlust. And just the whole thing. I really do dig it. There's a couple songs that I'm kind of like, eh. But it is a great Paul McCartney album when he went completely solo. Not Wings. I love Wings, man. I'm a big McCartney fan. I've seen him 4 times, and You know, I got this album way later. I found it like in a bargain bin. And I absolutely love it. I think this is a great, great album. Alright, this next album I'm going to show you is the biggest album of 1982 and the second biggest album of all time. It was the biggest album of all time, but recently the Eagles' Greatest Hits Part 1 overtook it. So that's the biggest selling album of all time. So you know what I'm talking about, right? Michael Jackson Thriller. Again, what I was saying earlier, my brain wasn't expanding enough, but you know, I did, as a kid, I liked Beat It because of Eddie. Eddie rips on that, and I'm a huge Van Halen fan. To me, Van Halen is the greatest band of, the greatest band formed in America ever. So I did dig it, but I did not buy this album for many, many years later. It was maybe the early 90s. I was dating a girl that loved Michael Jackson, and she played this, and I was hooked. I was like, wow, you know, this is a really, really... No wonder it sold a squillion albums, you know? Because it's really, really good. And after that, I went and bought Off the Wall, which I don't know, man. I have a hard time picking between which one I like more, Off the Wall or this one. And I bought Bad, too. I have them all on vinyl, but this is a great album, man. Billie Jean, you know, all this shit I love now. Human Nature is fucking amazing. Can I just... Is there any way I can stop saying the F word? What a stupid fucking question, right? Gotta be starting something. Gotta be starting something. This is just a great, great album, you know. Lady in My Life. It's awesome. And Michael Jackson was innocent. You can't change my mind. Don't even try it. Why don't you look into it before you become a sheep media and think that he actually did diddle kids. He didn't. That's what I think. And I know I'm right. Black Sabbath, Live Evil. Look, there are problems on this album, I think. I actually prefer Live at Hammersmith. I don't know, there's something weird with the mix of the audience. But the reason that it did make my top 20, because it does rule for the most part. I am not the biggest fan of Ronnie James Dio doing the Ozzy material. I'm really not. I'm sure if Ozzy did the Dio material, I wouldn't like it either. I don't know, there's just something about it. But I will say the one song on here I really love from the Ozzy era, and I can't say it's better than the original, because to me, I'm too brainwashed on Sabbath, okay? To me, when it comes to 70s Sabbath, nobody can top them. Greatest band on the planet, so nobody can cover a song better than, that can better the original Sabbath. But I really love the version of Black Sabbath. The way Dio sings the song Black Sabbath, I love. And I'll tell you something else. I saw this tour, the Mob Rules tour, and they did, this set list was what I saw. And when they did NIB that night, it was better than this version. It's on here. There was something, man, I'll never forget it, man, when Dio would do Something to Feel, and then he would hit he couldn't hit high notes, you know what I mean? But you know, Something to Feel, the way he would do it, he doesn't do it on here like that. And I wish he did, because I thought that version I saw live was, I would have said NIB too. Even though NIB is okay, will probably be my second favorite of the Ozzy stuff, but, and I don't want to make fun of the late great Ronnie James Dio, because I love him. If you saw my Ronnie James Dio collection, you would know that, my Ronnie James Dio music collection video. So I don't mean to bash the guy, but honestly, when they do Paranoid, and he goes, because I can't, you know, he says blind, and before he goes into the solo, Dio says, I can't see. I was like, well, why'd you do that? Well, you know, they kept fucking, you know, the controversy of this album is that Ronnie would come in and raise the vocals, then Tony would come in and raise the guitar, And then Ronnie and Tony actually said, that's bullshit, we never did that. But if they were doing that, they should have cut out that, I can't see. What the hell was that about? But I do love this album, and I love the cover, man. The cover represents every song on the album. Like you have Iron Man, and what's really cool, if you look at the children of the Sea, they're in a coffin. So it's kind of like Children of the Sea / Grave, and they're both on here. Mob Rules, War Pigs, Iron Man, Heaven and Hell, Voodoo, Paranoid, and then the back has the acoustic guitar in the water, which is representing Fluff. That lightning that you see there, I found out later it's the devil. If you look at it, it's kind of like the outline of the devil. But it is a great live album. I'm not hey shit, it made my top 20. But I do have a couple problems with it. But there you go. At number 14, the debut album of Twisted Sister's, Under the Blade. They were very heavy back then. Tear It Loose, one of the fastest songs at that time. What You Don't Know. What You Don't Know is like a song that is made to open an album. Run for Your Life, Sin After Sin, Shoot 'Em Down. Destroyer, probably my favorite track along with the title track, Under the Blade. Day of the Rocker I dig. The production of this is kind of weak, but it does add a little charm. Fast Eddie Clark does the solo on Tear It Loose. So, and I know probably I've had this conversation with many people, and they all disagree with me. But I really did like this version that was released, I don't know, 84 maybe, where Mark the Animal Mendoza ended up taking this album and remixing it. And I actually like this version better. I know I don't have a lot of people on my side on that. But still, Under the Blade deserves to be up there. All right. At number 12. This is a great album. The band is really starting to change drastically. But I'm still holding on. And I did see this tour. Rush, Signals. This album is awesome. You know, when I got my latest car, the first album I played on my iPod Shuffle was this, and I just cruised around cranking this album because I didn't hear it for a while. When I put it on my car, I was like, man, I haven't heard this album in a while. This album is so good. Analog Kid, Subdivision. I mean, the whole song, the whole Chemistry. Maybe Chemistry is probably my favorite on here. Digital Man, The Weapon, New World Man, Losing It, Countdown. A great, great album. Though they are really changing with a lot of keyboards and stuff. But I really do love Signals. Great, great album. All right, at number 11. My favorite album from this artist. One of my favorite guitar players of all time. Gary Moore, Corridors of Power. Wow, what a great album this is. Cold Hearted. Don't Take Me for a Loser. The amazing End of the World with that just flawless guitar playing. First time I heard End of the World, down here they have this thing called the Youth Fair that pops up once a year. And we were in traffic trying to get into the place, and the radio was playing it back in 1982. I'm with a group of friends, and they played End of the World. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Because I just heard like one of the most phenomenal guitar solos I've ever heard in my life. And I was like, who is this? This is fucking amazing. And then, after the DJ said it was Gary Moore, and I said, man, give me a pen. I'm going to forget this. So I wrote down Gary Moore, End of the World. Got to find this record. I found out it was called Corridors of Power later. But I did find it soon after I first heard it on the radio. And this album I just fell in love with. The only song I have a problem with is Wishing Well, which is a cover. Who did that? It's probably like an old blues tune. I know a lot of people covered it. I know Blackfoot covered it. Never really liked that song. But the rest of this album, Cold Hearted, I Can't Wait Until Tomorrow's gorgeous. Gorgeous song. Fall in Love with You is almost a mellow disco song. And I just loved Gary Moore, man. What an amazing guitar player. God, I never got to see him, man. Rest in peace, Gary Moore. Now, the top 10 albums of 1982, according to me. At number 10, I Really Had a Blackout, baby. I love the Scorps, you know. And this album was played a lot in 1982. The title track, You Give Me All I Need, Dynamite rules. I love Arizona. Arizona is such a fun song. China White is a deep, heavy track. And I love When the Smoke is Going Down, the ballad that ends it. This is a great album. I don't think the Scorpions has ever made an album this good since. I did like the next album, but then after that they totally lost me. But this album is like, they never topped it. I love Blackout. Awesome album. At number 9, an album not liked by the band. I've heard them complain about the mix and stuff, and they were going through a little bit of turmoil. Fast Eddie wanted to leave the band, and he did after this. I love Iron Fist. This album is, to me, gold. The title track, I'm the Doctor, which actually my band covered. You can hear it on YouTube. I did a cover of I'm the Doctor. How appropriate. And Go to Hell, Loser, Sex and Outrage, America. Oh man, Speed Freak, Don't Let Them Grind You Down, Don't Need Religions, Bang to Right. This is a great, great album. I absolutely love Iron Fist. Lemmy wasn't too crazy about it, unfortunately. I don't know what Filthy thought. He probably didn't like it either. I love it. Motorhead rules, and this is one of my favorites, actually. I would say that would make my top 10 of Motorhead albums. Alright, next, Ozzy. Love this album. A lot of people have a problem with this album. Not me. I love this album. I know I have the original recording without, you know, the Ozzy going in the studio and fixing his vocals, and he sounds really rough in the first 2-3 songs. But then after that, I mean, there's little cracks in his voice here and there, but I think it sounds fine, and I would have been happy with it like that. But I'm not going to complain at all about it. All you people that complain about it, I don't agree with you, man. This is an amazing album, and to think that Rudy Sarzo, Tommy Aldridge, and Brad Gillis only had a short amount of time to learn all these Black Sabbath songs is mind-blowing, because they fucking nail it, man. In that recording I got, there is a couple fuck-ups with Tommy Aldridge too that is fixed on the album. My favorite track on here, I love the version of Never Say Die. I love it. I just, and Symptom of the Universe. Little side note about this album, Randy Rhoads, when he was alive, he was not a Black Sabbath fan. Unfortunately. Still doesn't taint the greatness to me, because to me, Randy Rhoads and Eddie Van Halen are my favorite guitar players of all time. But he wanted out of the band. I mean, he just wanted out of the music industry, period. He wanted to go into, you know, learn classical guitar, you know, go to classical school for music. And he wanted to leave the band, and Ozzy didn't want him to leave. But then they made an agreement. Like, okay, Randy, just record this live album with us, and then you can leave. So Randy was supposed to do this album, and he wasn't happy about it. I read this in Rudy Sarzo's book. He said, you know what, I'm not a Sabbath fan, I really don't want to do this, but, you know, I'm going to do it. And then, unfortunately, he passed away soon after that. And I would have loved to hear what Randy would have done on this. Randy's versions of these Black Sabbath classics. But I love it. And shout out to my friend David Lovett, who never watches my videos. He was at this show. And Ozzy shaved his head. When he came out on stage, he was bald-headed. All right, at number 8, another album a lot of people complain about. I absolutely love this album. I don't care if it has a bunch of covers. You know, I think when Van Halen does covers, they turn it into Van Halen songs. Go listen to Where Have All the Good Times Gone from the Kings. Tell me it sounds like this version. And, well, Pretty Woman's probably the closest, but it still has that Van Halen power. This album is awesome. Along with Van Halen 2, I think it's the perfect summer album. This album's great, man. Secrets, jeez, that song's great. Hang 'em High is ripping. Little Guitars is awesome. Big Bad Bill is Sweet William Now, which I used to hate as a little kid when this album came out, but I grew to adore that album. Cathedral's a great, man. Cathedral, here's a funny thing about Cathedral. When I saw the Fair Warning tour, when Eddie did Eruption, you know, he does a bunch of solos together. He did Cathedral during it, and it was like, what? Because I had nosebleeds for Fair Warning. I was like, how the hell is he getting that noise? It sounds like an organ. And, you know, he was doing the volume knob thing. I mean, Eddie Van Halen's my favorite guitar player, along with Randy Rhoads. It's just such a game changer. And what he did, you know, and then the intro to Little Guitars. Sounds like two guitar players. You hear that, and then you hear dun 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 dun. I mean, the guy is just incredible. Full Bug is probably my favorite song on here. Best part of a man. This whole album. I love this whole album. I have no problem with Diver Down like a lot of people do. I actually prefer it to 1984. And I love 1984. But actually, I like Van Halen albums in order. My favorite is the first one, then Van Halen 2, Women, Children First, Fair Warning, this one, then 1984, when it comes to the original six-pack. I love Diver Down, have no problem with it whatsoever. Solid 10, and deserves to be in the top 10. All right, at number 7, woo, kind of a game changer, and my favorite album by Accept, Restless and Wild. Unfortunately, I don't have the cooler album cover with the two flying V's on fire, but hey, man, it's really about the disc inside, but shit, I would like to have that cover, though. Fast as a Shark is like such a game changer. There's so many good, I mean, everything on here is great, man. The title track, Neon Night, Princess of the Dawn, jeez, man. Flash Rockin' Man. I mean, this whole album is amazing and deserves to be in the top 10. Absolutely huge fan of Accept. And this is my favorite Accept album. Restless and Wild owns. At number 6, another game changer band, Black Metal by Venom. My second favorite Venom album. Welcome to Hell will be my favorite, but this one is so good. Acid Queen, Bloodlust, Sacrifice, Heaven's on Fire, Countess Bathory, Don't Burn the Witch. But this album is just amazing, and I have all three people, all three of them. They're a trio. Cronus signs his name backwards. I met Mantis. I met Cronus on the 70 Tons of Metal cruise. Then I saw Venom Inc., which is an amazing band too. Mantis signed it, and then Abaddon signed his saying, fucking Abaddon, cunt, with a pentagram. Definitely amazing album, game changer. One of my favorite bands from back in the day. Because back then I used to like look for the most evil, heaviest albums. I looked at it, I was like, oh boy. Because I had this before Welcome to Hell. And in the back cover, it says, we drink the vomit of the priest, make love with the dying whore, we suck the blood of the beast, and hold the key to death's door, to be continued. Now, honestly, I'm not a Satanist. I actually think the whole Satan thing is played out. But back then, it was very special. It was so taboo, you know, and to read shit like that, it was like, oh man, this has got to be good. And yeah, you know, I know a lot of people heard Venom for the first time and didn't get it because it was so dirty and badly produced. But man, when I heard it for the first time, I was like, man, this is so different. And I need more of this. So soon after I got Welcome to Hell. And I ended up liking that even more. But man, Black Metal, historic, great, amazing metal masterpiece, in my opinion. All right, now we're down to the top 5. 5 left. I love this album. Deserves to be in the top 5. the Plasmatics Coup d'etat. I saw them open the Creatures of the Night tour, and I ran out and bought it soon after I saw that show. This album is perfect. Every song on this album rules. My favorite would probably be The Damned. You know, my band, Thrash or Die, performed this song once live, and it's on YouTube. So you can see it. Type in Thrash or Die, The Damned. You can see us perform it live. Mistress of Taboo is probably my second favorite. Just like on TV, I am going to cover that song. I want to cover that song badly. Every song on here rules. Great cover of No Class by Motorhead. Put Your Love in Me. Stop. Rock and Roll, Lightning Breaks. Path of Glory. Country Fairs is fucking hysterical. It's like a mellow song, but then it gets real heavy, and then there's this part where Wendy O screams like, "Give it to me, give it to me!" The way she does that, it sounds like Seth from Anal Cunt. This is like Anal Cunt before Anal Cunt. Fucking great album. One of my favorite albums of all time. Made the top 5. That means there's 4 more releases I like more than this. And they're damn good. At number 4, Creatures of the Night. Yes, I know a lot of you out there, this would be your favorite. My number 4, which is, for me, damn high. Because I am a 70s Kiss fan. To me, it's all about Ace, Peter, Gene, and Paul. That's my favorite releases. But I can't deny the greatness of Creatures of the Night. When I did this review, I wasn't too crazy about Saint and Sinner. Now I absolutely love that song. I love the drum patterns of what Eric Carr does. I love Eric Carr's drumming on this. I don't think Kiss has made an album this good since, though. Lick It Up is damn close. Very close to being as good as this. It's like the sister album. But after Creatures of the Night, forget it. Every release, especially after Lick It Up, does not even come close to this. This is a great album. I saw the tour. My friend came. I said this story a million times. I'll say it again. I'll say it real quick. My friend came to my house with this on cassette, saying, "You got to hear this." I said, "No. Screw Kiss, man. I'm over that Kiss thing." Because I stopped after Dynasty. I didn't care for them after that. He put the cassette on, and then it's just like, whoa. Instant Kiss fan again. And then I just started collecting everything after that. And I own every single Kiss release. A lot of them I don't like. Well, some of them I don't like. But I still buy them because I love Kiss and I want to be a completist. And I own even the Scab stuff. But at number 4, the great Creatures of the Night. Cannot deny the greatness of that one. Number 3 would be a lot of people's number 1. I love it. Number of the Beast, Iron Maiden. Awesome. I'm a Diano guy. I like those albums that came before this more, the 2 that came before it. But, man, how can I deny the greatness of this album? Hallowed Be Thy Name. One of the greatest Maiden songs ever. The best Maiden song with Bruce Dickinson, in my opinion. 22 Acacia Avenue. Children of the Damned. The Prisoner. And I'm not burnt out on Number of the Beast or Run to the Hills. I'm not a fan of Invader or Ganglands. Neither is Steve Harris, actually, which is odd. When I heard him say it, I was like, whoa. I don't like those songs either. But other than that, every other song on here rules. Total Eclipse should have been on this album. Love that song as well. At number 3, the great Number of the Beast. Historic album. Awesome. Number 2, and believe me, this is very close to Number of the Beast. They're almost tied. Screaming for Vengeance, Judas Priest. Amazing album. I got a funny story about the first time I heard this album. A friend of mine fooled me because by the time this was released, Randy Rhoads already passed away. Now, we've heard a lot about this band Randy Rhoads was in called Quiet Riot. You know, Metal Health wasn't out yet. We had no idea what Quiet Riot sounded like. So my friend said, "Hey, I got Quiet Riot with Randy Rhoads. Check it out." I was like, "Whoa, put it on. I'm dying to hear this." And he played Electric Eye and Hellion. And I fell for it. I was like, oh my God, Quiet Riot are gods. That bastard, he fooled me. It was this. This album, holy crap, is this good. The only song I don't like off it, I'm telling you this, I didn't like it even back then. and I still don't like it, is Another Thing Coming. And the reason is not because it's the popular song. I'm not a fan of verses that have verse, riff, you know, one life, I'm going to live it up, can't, taking time and I'm going to give it up, dan. I don't like, there are exceptions, very few exceptions, but I just don't like that. But everything else on this album, Riding on the Wind, Bloodstone, Take These Chains, I love Take These Chains, and the first time they ever played it was on their last tour, and the first show of that last tour of Firepower, the last leg, was at Hollywood, Florida, here. I got to see them play Take These Chains for the first time. Oh man, Pain and Pleasure, the title track, Fever, the most underrated track on this album. I think that song is amazing. And ending it is the killer Devil's Child. Screamer for Vengeance, number 2. What's left? What could be number 1? Can anybody out there think? What could be the number 1 album after all that? Well, my number 1 is not actually an album, it's an EP. And I gotta say, this EP changed my life. The first time I ever heard it, my friend was in a band called Iron Cross. He's still my friend. Actually, I spoke to him earlier today, Milo, the bass player. And in their rehearsal space, they had a turntable hooked up to Marshall amps. So he used to play vinyl in there and crank it up all the way. So he showed up one day with this record and said, you gotta hear this. And when he played it, he put the needle down. And all of a sudden I heard an open riff like, gang, and then all hell broke loose. This crazy guitar solo with this fast tempo, insane. And then the singer came up, and it was the most insane singing I heard ever. I was like, what the hell is this? Mercyful Fate, what people call the Nuns Have No Fun EP. And let me just like take you there for a second. When he came in and he put the album on, I'm looking at this album cover. Number 1, like I was saying about Venom, looking for the heaviest, evilest stuff. I mean, look at this. It's like she's on a cross. There's a pentagram and satanic. There's titties, and these like figures, these dark black magic skeleton figures. I'm like, wow. And then when the guy starts screaming, I see this freak right here, and I'm like, what am I hearing? And I had Hank Sherman sign it, as you can see. To me, Mercyful Fate is the greatest band from the 80s, my favorite band, along with Black Sabbath, my favorite band of all time. King Diamond is an acquired taste. There's a lot of people that don't get it, and that's fine, but I do, and I'm so happy I do get it. Next month, or maybe 2 months from now, I get to meet King Diamond for the first time. I paid for the VIP. I've never met the man. Hopefully he'll sign this for me. This album is a game changer in my life. It really, I mean, back then when I was looking for the heaviest, darkest, satanic band because it was so taboo, you couldn't get more taboo than this in 1982. Now, maybe it was early 1983 or late 1982 that I got this, but he told me there was another copy of this album at Open Books, and he took me the next day. And this is the original press. When they repressed it for the second press, it had a white border. So this is the original. Game changer. Absolutely love that EP. And that is my favorite albums and release EP of 1982. I'll tackle more years coming up, and I already have 78, 79, and 80 done, and I'll bring it over to this channel eventually. Hopefully I'll be doing these once a month. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. You all rule. Subscribe if you haven't. Press the little bell for the notifications. And I would appreciate it. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Schmack 'em a gob. This video was brought to you by Miami Metal Merchant for your metal needs and competitive prices. visit MiamiMetalMerchant.com. Tell them Dr. Fuck sent you.
Hey, I'm Dr. Fuck.
And I'm the Ayatollah of Alcohola.
And we are from the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast.
If you want to check out some crazy, uncensored, unbiased, totally nuts reviews of classic hard rock and heavy metal albums, check us out. You can get us on Podbean and iTunes. New episodes every Sunday.
That's right. And we also do each other's moms.
True. Free of charge.
Well, mine charges.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, mine's free.
Hey, check out my podcast, The Vieira Vault. We're on Spreaker, we're on iTunes, and we're on YouTube. Check it out and subscribe. Hey, headbangers, you want your own radio show? Well, you got it. On Thursday nights here on that metal station, join me on the Dr. Fuck Show. Go in the chat room and I will make you my co-host. That's right. Everybody that joins me in the chat room, I discuss whatever you guys want to talk about. I'll mention your name, I'll say what you say, and we're going to go back and forth. And I'll even fucking play whatever request you want. Unless it sucks, then I ain't playing it because my show rules. And only songs that rule is allowed right here on that metal station. The Dr. Fuck Show airs live Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there. Well, no, fuck that hope. I better see you there, motherfucker.